Touchdown, my heart is beating. See the dust on my feet, feel the weight on my bones, hear my breath in my head. I am free for the first time. Touchdown, my eyes are believing. See my friends on the ground, hear the steps, hear the sounds, watch them fly to the hills. We are free for the first time. Let's start this odyssey. Brave steps in front of me. My eyes so wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future. On this odyssey. Touchdown, this place is bubbling. Watch them run, watch them fly, have a drink, start a fire, climb a ship, see the size for the first time. Touchdown, we are greeting. See the look in their eyes on my highway, surprise of a fight for their lives. Yeah, we are meeting. Let's start this odyssey. Brave steps in front of me. My eyes so wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future. Bullets fall like burning chaff. The celebration turns to violence. Laser fire makes shields go blue. Explosions fill my ringing ears. Humanity has come to stay. With all our faults, fears and anger. Joyous in this wondrous fall. Or let me slip away. Let's start this odyssey. Brave steps in front of me. My eyes so wide to see this future. Let's make this odyssey. Frontiers for us to see. Vistas so wide, this is the future. Embrace the future.
We all know what it's like. You're busy managing your settlement when suddenly the alarms go off.
Oh no, not again.
That's right. A commander with a Federation naval rank of Admiral, an Imperial King no less, has landed in a ship worth over 100 million credits and is killing all your staff, while they look around for a 10 credit adhesive to glue an upgraded scope to their 100,000 credit assault rifle. They fly away with their super glue and you're left with a problem. How are you going to get your agricultural plant back up and running?
How am I going to get my plant up and running?
How are you going to find staff at short notice?
How am I going to find staff at short notice?
How are you going to deal with all those bodies?
There's bodies everywhere, and they've stained the carpet.
Wonder no longer. Call Harry's Crime Scene Cleanup Services.
Hello, I'm Harry, from Harry's Mine. After a sudden increase in robberies and murders by commanders since 3307, I've gained valuable expertise in cleaning up bodies, recruiting new staff and restocking stationary lockers. Now you can benefit from my experience by signing up to our Crime Scene Cleanup Service subscription plan.
That's right. For only a small monthly fee, when your settlement alarms are activated, our rapid response cleanup crew will be dispatched, along with our patented Cadaver Scoop 150. The Cadaver Scoop 150 can be mounted to surface reconnaissance vehicles and skimmers to make tidying up your settlement a breeze.
Wow, the bodies are gone.
Our recruitment team has potential new employees on standby across the galaxy, ready to fill your vacant roles in security, logistics, administration, processing, and more.
My plant's operational again. Thanks, Ares Crime Scenes Cleanup Services.
Ares Crime Scene Cleanup Services. We'll have your settlement as good as new before the next ship arrives. Cadaver Scoop 150 disposal bags sold separately.
I was overseeing the delivery of some slaves to the starport in Exios, and a cleaning robot had just washed the floor, but not left a warning sign. I had to run after a slave that was escaping, and I slipped and fractured my wrist. I was delayed for 10 whole minutes while the Medicomp repaired the damage. My time is billable. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was on a regular trading run back to Sol, and it was my job to repaint the outside of the ship. I was given the wrong kind of EVA clamps. Nothing bad actually happened, but it did give me a fright. Can I get compensation?
Yes, you can.
I was checking some robots through customs when I distinctly heard an official call the robots clanks. I was deeply offended, even though I'm not a robot myself. That's their word. You're not allowed to use it. Can I claim for moral outrage?
Yes, you can. At Cowell and McGrath, we are now taking any kind of legal action. No case too small, no justification too frivolous. If you've been lightly inconvenienced, embarrassed, or in any way put out, then someone should be made to give you money. Don't be a stupid clank.
Excuse me?
Cowell and McGrath, taking on any case, playing the percentages.
There's a light in the night, and it won't go out. Now I found you. There's a heat so close that I never feel cold. Now I found you. I was alone, out in the dark. Then I saw hollow squares all around. Oh, now the comms call my name every night. Now I found you in the depths, gazing brightly at the neutron star. We share the field, scooping jack cones, leaping to the edges of the night. Oh, I was alone, out in the dark. Then I saw hollow squares all around. Oh, I was alone, out in the dark. Heaven was all around. Oh, together.
welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings and welcome to Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders.
Greetings, Commanders.
The show that talks about the universe of Elite
And the development of the computer game Elite 4, known as Elite Dangerous.
and the fantastic
Community that surrounds it.
Broadcast from an orange sidewinder and hosted by a vending machine technician.
A place of nonsense and innuendo for forum dads. A self-contained podcast 2 hours long.
Transmitting to every corner of the galaxy.
It's even louder than me.
The hottest show this side of Dizzo.
The name of the place.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Lave Radio.
Greetings, Commanders, and welcome to episode 517 of Lave Radio, the show that likes to talk about the universe of Elite and the fantastic community that surrounds it. I'm your host, Commander Phoenix Defire, otherwise known as Colin Ford, Chief Archivist of Lave Station, and joining me in the Orange Sidewinder bar for this episode, we have our SRV Banksy, Commander Alec Turner.
Hello!
We have our Staff Liaison Officer, Commander Psychit, otherwise known as Claire.
Hello!
And also, we have the Chris Mark IV, the tech gibbon himself, who's teching and talking.
Hello!
Wow. Multitasking here. Right, if you wish, you can join us live. We're hanging out in game in open. I assume, Chris, at the Lave Bar.
Indeed, we are at the reserve table in the Lave Bar.
Excellent. And if you can't get to us in there, then you can also find us on the Twitch chat channel, which you can access through laveradio.com/live. Click on the live chat, or go to twitch.tv/laveradio or YouTube. We're there for both of them. So, quick chat around the rest of the team, see what they've been up to this week. The Chris Mark IV, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. It seems a bit late, but I've still been saying that to everyone as I've been going around. So Happy New Year, everyone. Good to see you all again. It feels like ages since I've been on. What have I been up to? Well, back to the usual, essentially. Back to work and back to being too busy and radio and other such bits. What have I really been doing? This weekend was quite a sort of chill out weekend. It has been cold. It has been miserable weather. I did not go that far. I essentially booked a holiday to sunshine later in the year. that's what I did. I booked sunshine for later because I was like, no. I'm not putting up with this for a whole year. So booked myself a bit of sunshine for later. On Sunday, it was the usual sort of Black Diamond FM program, but we had a special guest in. We had a guy called Crawford Mack, a Scottish singer-songwriter who did a little live session for us. So
it was brilliant.
It was the first live session of the year. It opened with him coming in to discover me trying to put buckets under a fresh leak in the studio roof. Which was, it's always a good way to open when you bring guests into the studio and the roof is falling apart and there's no lighting. So it was an interesting program, but we made it in the end. So no, he was fantastic live, and a cheeky wee plug. You can catch it on the Black Diamond FM website if you want to have a listen to it, because he was very
We'll
good.
put a link in the show notes.
Thank you. He was very, very good, and well worth checking out if you get the chance. In game, I have not been in Elite a lot. I have been trying to pick up. I went out in a Type 8 to salvage bits of the Titan around Earth, because I wanted to pick up some drive components so that I could get these nice pre-engineered FSDs. So I've been attempting to salvage bits and pieces in there to very limited success, but yes, I've been doing little bits of salvaging in my little time in game.
Excellent. What about you, Alec?
Yes. Let's see. I've doom scrolled far too many LA fire videos.
Oh God, yeah.
I went for a walk in the snow, which was nice while it lasted. Cold, but don't get to do that very often in this country. So I went for a sort of walk around the neighborhood in the snow while it lasted. I finished watching Dead Boy Detectives, which is fucking fantastic, and I highly recommend it. It's a Netflix series if people are not aware of it. If I suspect if people like their sort of Doctor Who, but it's also it's horror. It's ghostly, rather, as the title suggests, rather than science fictiony.
I'll be giving that one a miss, I'm afraid, because of the author.
Is Dead Boy Detectives Gaiman?
Yep.
Interesting.
Oh no!
It's
for fuck's sake!
They're based on the characters from the Sandman novel, the original Sandman Volume 1.
Oh man!
Only based on, but the story's written by somebody else, or
no? He would have been a consultant on it.
Oh, okay. Gosh, I did not know that. That's a shame. Oh well, I enjoyed it up until 2 seconds ago.
Sorry.
Sorry. Let's quickly move to in-game then. Yes, I did a bunch of things actually. I got back from my exobiology trip, which was I sort of went about 1.5 Kylie's out on a tourist trip and then did exobiology on the way back. I'm going to say only. It sounds a bit funny to say only. I only made 650 million credits. I don't know. I was hoping to top 1 billion, I suppose, but I just didn't get enough first footfall planets. So I should go further next time. Then I, yes, I bought a chrome skin for my Corvette so that I could then drop it down the side of a mountain while chasing it in a ship-launched fighter for a just about stunt bounty. The resulting video looks beautiful. A tumbling chrome Corvette going down the side of a well-lit mountain looks just stunning. I don't know if I've won yet. I hope I have, because it cost me quite a lot. It cost me 10,000 ARX for the ship skin and about 60 million credits in lost Corvettes. So it was quite an expensive stunt, but it worked out quite well. I attempted to make a tutorial. It's been my plan for a while to make a tutorial video on how to create ED Copilot time trials. It's not complicated, but there's quite a few little steps to it, and I also use a second app called SRV Tracker to drive to places and make the waypoints that I want people to drive around. So, but I haven't managed to do it yet. I had lots of problems trying to persuade NVIDIA to record my microphone. I gather this is a common thing. I've tried everything the internet had to suggest, which was an awful lot of things. Nothing works. NVIDIA's built-in video recording just will not pick up my mic. So in the end, I just ran Audacity at the same time and figured I'd splice the audio back onto the video at the end. However, I got going and I was really enjoying making my video, and then I got called for dinner and realized that the video was 40 minutes long and I was only about halfway through the process. So I've scrapped it and I will have another go next weekend and try not to ramble quite so much, because I was clearly, I was rambling a lot.
Know the feeling.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's quite hard making tutorials. I have growing respect for people that can make concise, punchy tutorial videos.
Scripts help.
Yeah, I don't have one. Maybe I'll write one. I spoke last week about doing about the elite races doing some live racing soon. I think the series is going to be called Titan Cup, incidentally, and I think there's going to be 8 events. I'm doing at least one of those. Well, yeah, one of those. Funnily enough, in HIP 22460, more on that system later. We're going to be redoing a race from Buckyball called Ring Tossers Rally, where you basically use the rings around planets as gates. Turns out HOP 22460 has 17 ringed planets. Every single major body in that system has got a ring around it. So it's going to make for an epic ring racing ship race. And last of all, what's on my notes here? Oh yeah, last of all, I failed miserably doing my Power Play weeklies because of all the other things that I was doing, as mentioned. And I would just like to say that I consider that a win over my completionist impulses. And a public service announcement: weeklies are optional, people. You don't have to do them.
I don't know. I don't understand. That doesn't make any sense to me, Alex.
I know it feels like it, but you don't
that's not an actual thing. I don't believe you.
That's my week.
Excellent. And that brings us to Claire.
Hello. It's me. Okay. What have I been up to? It snowed, didn't it? Is that this week?
Yeah.
Oh my God. We've only had 2 weeks of January of 2025 so far, and I've already completely lost track of time. We went to see a movie. Is that this week or was that last week? I can't remember, but I'm going to say that it was this week. Did I talk about going to see the Robbie Williams movie last week?
Oh, you mean the one that the Clean has now bombed?
I went to see it on Saturday. I did go and see it on Saturday. Okay. It was, we went to see Better Man. I don't think necessarily it's bombed. If it's bombed, it's bombed. You know what? Fuck it. Yeah. You know. Yeah. It is what it is. It's really good. Is it though? Okay.
If you're a Robin Williams fan,
Chris knows exactly what I'm about to say. So I spent there's a huge amount of the movie that I spend going. I just spent going. I don't understand why he's a monkey though. Literally the whole of the movie, because it's quite a big thing. Is that he is Robbie Williams is a monkey throughout the whole thing. He's a digital monkey, and there is something a little bit just like weird.
Okay. I really like that. I think they call it a conceit, don't they? When a movie has a conceit, a thing it does that. I really liked the conceit of that. I haven't seen it, but
It's brilliant. The monkey is brilliant. The way it performs, the way it is in the scene is phenomenal. It's so good. The achievement in the graphics is brilliant. It's one of those ones where I'm like, I think everyone should see this movie. And then if you ask me to quantify whether or not I liked it, I'm like, I don't know.
Here's a question. If you like your Baz Luhrmann movies, if you like your Moulin Rouges and your Elvises, do you think you'd like it?
I like Moulin Rouge. I've not seen. Moulin Rouge finishes the moment the curtains close. I don't compare it to that. It's very much like a jukebox musical movie.
Showman. It's Greatest Showman. That's Baz Luhrmann
It's
as well.
the same. No, it's not Baz Luhrmann. It's the same director who did The Greatest Showman did Better Man.
Okay.
So it is. It's one of those where you either absolutely go into the conceit where you watch.
Yeah.
And I think I found it kind of won me in the initial scenes because it's got Robbie as a kid playing football with everyone else, and it is the CG ape, obviously, playing football, and it kind of won me over in that moment. It had all the emotions and all the stuff that they've, obviously, like things like Planet of the Apes films have really perfected the way the CGs work, and it is somehow seamless. But you do have the question of, if they had made this movie and it had not had that, it would have been a ton cheaper for them to make, and would it have made the same amount of money? I absolutely.
And it wouldn't have had one particular scene in it.
Yeah.
Like there's one particular scene where you go, oh, that's why he's a cheat. That's why he's he is what he is. That's why they're doing that CGI character. So so that in and of itself took me out of it a little bit. Steve Pemberton is just incredible in it. I think that Steve Pemberton is worth going to see it for alone. And I know I've talked about this quite a lot now, but and Chris is right. My husband Chris has just said that it reminded him of Rocket Man, but with a chimp, and I think that's probably a closer.
Yeah, that's about right.
A closer comparison. I love Rocket Man. I think it's great.
Yeah, me too. It's terrific.
But I didn't like The Greatest Showman because it's not Barnum, and I like the musical Barnum rather than it. That's by the by. Anyway, it was really good. It was really good. Question mark.
I enjoyed it. I would echo what Claire said. I've been encouraging people to go and see it.
Yeah.
Don't take the current box office as a reason not to go, because critically it's been given quite a lot of plaudits. It's just the time of year that it's come out, the weather that it's come out in, and
that's always a bad thing, isn't it?
And I think something like a budget of 125 million has been spent on this thing because it's got a huge amount of CG in it. It has made it very, very expensive. So, and Robbie Williams is not really going to appeal to an American audience, which is where you would need this to make its money.
Yeah.
Robbie Williams, I always count as like a very UK act. I know that he is known in the States, but not to the same extent of, doing Rocket Man or Queen or anything like that. It's not going to have that same connection for a US audience as it is for a UK audience. There's a lot of very UK jokes, humour, language, and all sorts through it. So
the millennial in me is really enjoying like this Robbie Williams resurgence though, and him going on all of these shows and singing his old shit, because there is a man there who absolutely understands his craft and what he brings to the table. And I find that utterly compelling. He just understands what he can do, and it's like as someone who enjoys live performances and enjoys seeing people who are really good at what they do doing what they do. It's been really fun. It's been really fun to see like this him on this big tour, this big promo tour, and just being fully aware of who he is. Anyway, it's the in game.
Meanwhile,
I haven't done much else. I've been playing some Planet Coaster, playing a new game called Airborne Empire, which came out today, which is very good and very fun and incredibly compelling to play. But the Elite, I got a bunch of settlement of mega ship scanning missions, and then ended up doing them the week after. I think that might have been a couple of weeks ago, but I did my weeklies, because you have to do your weeklies, Alec. Don't let anything Alec says get you wrong. That you have to do it. You absolutely do. But then I did BGS. I genuinely did BGS for the first time in a really long time. We did some war stuff. I've done some like influence things, and it's kind of a little bit of like the squadron that the faction that my squadron supports in game. We're trying to sort of get it all ready, as it were, for colonization and that kind of thing. So we're making it we're making it look all happy and have no big problems with it, especially now that expansion suddenly started working. So everyone expanded this week. So we went a bit mental, and we expanded, and now we're already like winning the war to take control of the system already, and it's just nice. It's just nice to be getting back into that, because it's been a really long time since I've touched any sort of like background sim and watching the influence move. And I remember why it's so addictive, and why it's like what got me into Elite to begin with, that was the thing. Oh my God, I can move this around, and the stuff that I do makes that this faction is now in charge of this system, and now it's in war and all of that kind of stuff. And I'd lost a little bit of that. And it's been nice to rediscover that again to some extent. So it doesn't mean like I'm not going to make BGS my job like I used to, but I am yet again sort of like a little bit more invested in what's going on in the galaxy, which is quite nice, really. Good old Elite.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Isn't it the reason he's a chimp is because the manager kept on saying to Robbie, dance, monkey boy, dance?
No, the reason he's a chimp is because that is how he sees himself.
Oh, the spirit animal thing. Should have known.
No, not spirit animal. Just that is how he sees himself. It's very good. It's very well explained. It's good. It's a good film.
Right. Well, I guess I'll talk about things that have been happening here. I've had to stay in effectively house arrest because the weather's been that cold. It's been too dangerous to go out on the bike. So I've been working from home all week and hating every moment of it because it's been so cold. And because of that, not much has happened. But in Elite World, I did my weeklies. That's the first time I got into power play for ages, and really got my bit between the teeth and did some not only weeklies but some proper power play influence stuff, which was really good for the power but bad for my merit count. I've decided that with my main commander, I am going to finally complete all the engineers, and was really impressed the fact with all the new engineering changes, I managed to get 2 engineers in one 2-hour play session, which before that, you'd be lucky to get 2 engineers in 2 months. So, I was really happy with that. And I think I managed another 10 light years towards Colonia and my Explorer Commander. Now I'm playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII as I prepare for Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is now, 9 days away. Not that I'm counting. So, yeah. That's what I've been up to this week. Right, let's move on. Development news. What have the devs said this week? Well, they haven't said much. In fact, they won't be saying much for quite a while. The Discord event for the next FU and the official Frontier Unlocked Discord server says Wednesday, February the 26th. So there are no other announcements of that, so make what you will.
It's fine.
Yeah. No, last time they went.
Start of the year.
Yeah, last time they went this quiet. That's when we found out about consoles. Thank you. Really reassuring.
No. Last time they went this quiet, we got a Frontier Unlocked, and they told us that they were doing 4 new ships, and they were doing 2 new big updates. So I'm not concerned.
That is true, actually. When Zach said it went down well, so I think they'll do the same next year. I think what none of us realised is what they're going to do is repeat the whole, oh no, it's doom. There's nothing. They're going to have a month of silence. They're going to lay off loads of people. They're going to make us think that Frontier are about to go, and then they'll do a really good FU in February.
But you know what they did in Planet? You know what the devs said in Planet Coaster today, though. We have to mention it because it's it's also a thing. They gave them, drum roll please, no one in drum roll. They gave them a roadmap.
Good God! Wow.
Hang on. That word is banned.
No, I wish it was, because Frontier called it a fucking roadmap, man.
Wow.
In the spring 2025 roadmap is what it came up with. They gave them there was an update 2 and 3 with details saying what was coming in February, what was coming in March, and then everything else was under construction for April and May. So roadmap.
Yes.
It's doing an awful lot of heavy lifting, but it is like a bit of information that they got with like a proper plan. So if we get anything similar to that in Elite,
well, it's about this time they're actually due for the mid-financial results, actually. So hopefully next week we might actually have some numbers to crunch and say, oh, they've done quite well, or oh, God, they've done.
I mean,
they've spent
I'm hoping
125 million on a CG ape. Is that what you're saying? This is when we look in the balance book and go, "Oh my God, what have they done?" How much did they sell the animals for out of Planet Zoo? Yeah.
That's the biggest profit maker right there.
That's what they need. They need in Planet Zoo. They need a jumping around Robbie Williams chimp. That's what they need now.
Yes.
Okay. So. If there's anything you'd like us to discuss in a future episode, because, we're here.
We fill in the gaps. It's fine. Even if we've got shit all to talk about. Me and Alec were just saying, like, before the show started, me and Alec could probably sit in a room and talk about Elite for 2 hours.
Yeah,
we wouldn't talk about anything at all, but we would talk about it for 2 hours.
Oh,
tell me more about this game where you build a city on top of a floating platform. That sounds fun.
My God, I could talk about that for hours. It's really fun.
We'll do that next week.
Well, if that's the case, I will hand over to Alec, who has got the community news of what everybody's been up to.
And now to the community coroner.
It's a dead game, innit, mate?
I was going to say there's just a handful of things this week, but I can see Colin typing as I speak. Oh yes, there's a justabout.com. There's rewards all the time. We don't often shout them out. I thought I'd shout out this one because it's dead easy. Basically, it is tell us why you play Elite Dangerous. And if you want to bung them a quick sentence on why you play Elite Dangerous, you can earn a whole $1. Footnote, I don't think you can cash in your Just About rewards until you've got at least 30 or something. But anyway, it's $1 towards it. Or you can write 200 words for $5. It really is paying us. But anyway, whatever. I wrote 250 words on why I like Elite Dangerous. Whatever.
You're normally so succinct with your words, Alec.
I know. I could have written a lot more. Actually, I'm quite pleased with my thing. I'm not going to divulge it now, but I'm quite pleased with what I wrote. Actually, it was basically about the flight model and also about how genius Super Cruise is, which I think is underrated. Anyway, sorry, you've distracted me now. But
Sorry.
given Super Cruise, we just sort of take it for granted, but it's bloody brilliant. And from what I gather, listening to the guard frequency, 10 years on, Star Citizen is still trying to work out how to do intra-system travel. I know it's like Elite nailed it 10 years ago. Anyway, maybe that's contentious. Let's plow on.
No, it's the meshing of servers. You cannot do this without a good mesh.
Everyone talks about jump gates and all sorts of things, and honestly, Elite's just nailed it with Super Cruise. It's genius. Anywho, next up is this weekend on Sunday was the big blockade of HIP 22460. I didn't go. I couldn't go actually. At sort of time I couldn't play. I believe Epaphras was there. I've seen some good things. I think people enjoyed it. I haven't seen many videos, so what I've linked in the show notes is Commander Mechan's debrief, which is actually quite interesting. A couple of things he mentions is that I think they were quite ambitious in their hopes for instance sizes. I think he tried to get a few sort of 100 commander instances, which I think we all know is hard to do, and should have stuck to maybe 25 to 30 instances. But it was quite interesting. He talked about I think before the event I'd been a little bit cynical about the dirty great long checklist of things you had to sign off in order to take part. But he talks about some of those and like setting up your networking, because one bad network or computer in a 30-person instance can drag the whole instance down. And I think they had a lot of rubber banding of Thargoids and things. I think good fun was had by all generally, which is the main thing. But there's some interesting stuff in the debrief about networking and how it went and instances. Maybe we'll get some more videos next week if people. I imagine there's lots of footage which people might assemble, which would be quite cool. Next up, I've forgotten the names of the previous two, but certainly in the sort of middle of last year, I raved about a couple of Elite Dangerous video series where people were sort of picking up the mantle of Isanona and making episodic Elite Dangerous videos about 20 minutes in length with a bit of a story and using subtitles for captions, very much in the Isanona style. Both of those, sadly, seem to have dried up. It's hard making videos. What can I say? I suspect we all embark on these projects and then 6 episodes in think, God, this is hard work.
Me and Colin are just sweating over here. It's okay.
Yeah, it's a shame because they were great. But anyway, there's a new one that's stepped up. The YouTuber is a person called Aitolu, Aitolu, and I think he's got about 5 videos now. These are very much a homage to Isanona. So the whole series is called Elite Dangerous brackets Flight Assist Off, and there's even an episode which I haven't watched yet called Isanona Elite Dangerous Flight Assist Off. They're fun. They're the usual thing. They're just a commander jumping around the galaxy doing things and learning stuff and accumulating stuff. But he, unlike the other 2 video series last year, he is, or they are, I should say, doing it with Flight Assist Off and kind of learning to use Flight Assist Off as they go. So the very first episode is, the landings are all over the place. If anyone's tried Flight Assist Off, you know that it is hard. But it's great to see them persisting with it, and by episode 3 they're starting to get the hang of it. So it's kind of we're riding along with someone's flight assist learning experience. So they're good.
Flight Assist Off in VR with added sick bag.
Yeah. But they're good. They're fun. They're entertaining. So I'm following those now. Right, next video up is Mile 13 Gaming. who we shout out a lot, has done a nice video called "What We Know About Colonisation" in Elite Dangerous so far. It's just a good recap, really, of what we've been told by Frontier. So just breaking down the process, as it says on the tin, what we know so far. I would mention, I think there's one thing that maybe he's got wrong, which is, I believe, that when you pick your initial starport, the very first one that you've got to complete within 7 days, 4 weeks, whatever it is, I don't think you get to choose where that one goes. I think it's only once you've established the initial one that you then get to pick from a variety of...
Have we had it confirmed, yay or nay yet? I can't remember.
What? Whether the first one you get to pick or not?
Yeah.
I thought they were quite explicit. I thought Piers said something about it, that you didn't pick the first one, but you can pick once you've established it. Anyway,
okay,
something like that. Whatever. It's a good video. Yeah, good video. Nice breakdown of the process. Right. Next video is by Indigo, who we feature sometimes. Who quite a few people sort of pointed me at this one. It's called "The Greatest In-Game Event You Never Knew Happened." I have to confess, I'm not entirely sure what the event that the title refers to is, but generally it's an excellent overview of our history with the Thargoids from almost pre-Elite Dangerous. It sort of discusses that, and then it discusses the retconning of pre-Elite Dangerous history, and then the first encounters in Elite Dangerous, and right up to the Casiho Titan. So it's good. It's a good overview. Very entertaining. Right, before Colin started typing furiously, this was my last item, which was the Apollo 14 expedition. I think we might have even mentioned this last year when it was in the planning. So the Apollo 14 expedition will depart from Kappa Reticuli on the 2nd of February, and it's scheduled to arrive in Colonia on the 23rd of March. I think it's not a direct route. It's going via the core and a bunch of notable nebula as waypoints. And they also discuss the fact that there's a massive number of undiscovered, unmapped systems along the way. So I think there'll be plenty of opportunity for genuine exploration. We'll include the link to the EDSM page for that. And as part of that, they just say, for this voyage, we are illuminating the often overlooked Apollo 14 mission to the moon from 1971, a triumphant return to space for NASA after the near-fatal disaster of Apollo 13, all led by America's first astronaut and the mascot of us at the Mercury 7 Explorers Group, Alan Shepard.
I wonder if anyone really cool was anyone else really cool was named after Alan Shepard. Can I very quickly just say, hey, go check out EDSM if you're wanting to go and do exploration. There's a hell of a lot of other ones that are currently showing up as either imminent or in the next few months. We've got Celebration of Early Astronomy 7, which is going in a couple of days. There's also Eden Exodus as well, which is at the end of Jan. Another one at the end of Jan, a 4th quadrant expedition leg number 3 in a Spiral and Beyond. Also, Phoenix Blue is doing the Guardians of Carina, which is happening, I think, on the 4th of April. So you've got a bit of time to prepare for that as well. But go and check out EDSM because there's lots going on at the moment. People are planning and shit. Cool stuff.
Excellent. Thanks, Claire. And Colin, you've thrown a thing in the bottom there.
Yeah, just to throw a spanner in the works. For those of you who know, there's the Massively OP podcast, which have been running since the Massively website went down 10 years ago. They've just hit 500, and they do these normally year of review of the year and kind of thing. And normally I listen to it. But one of the things that they did mention is they gave Elite Dangerous one heck of a good review of the year, which was nice of them. Apparently, Chris Neal, who's the sci-fi streamer space sim nerd over there, has given up on Star Citizen and says there's no point playing Star Citizen because the game you want is Elite Dangerous, which was an absolute surprise. Yes, he I think like us and massively were all of the opinion that Elite Dangerous would be put into maintenance mode or sunset by this point. When the year started in 2024, and have been amazed by what Frontier have done, and they've just said the game is so much better than when it was. So, yeah, coming from one of the biggest independent MMO magazines or websites, rather, I think that's quite good.
Yeah, nice. I'll give that a listen. Thanks, Colin.
So yeah, if you do have a community event taking place soon and you'd like us to talk about it, then you can tweet the crew at Lave Radio or email us at info@laveradio.com.
You can also get us on Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky at Lave Radio. I don't know what all the other things are. The bits that you sometimes put other people add on the end of Blue Sky. We're on Blue Sky. Don't go to Twitter.
No.
It's full of weird people.
That's a little insulting to weird people.
Fair. I can't say the other word. I'm censoring myself.
I'm not saying anything more in case we get into trouble and all of a sudden my Twitter gets blocked like Stanford police did. So,
these free speech people, they do love litigation, don't they? Carry on.
Yeah, the Stanford police, who are the guys that they've taken over the Twitter account from Hot Fuzz. So they tweet out as if they're that police force watching out for people warning about swans and getting their arm broken. Well, yeah, they just pissed off Elon Musk.
Well.
Yes. Anyway, in-game events. What's happened this week? Well, this was quite interesting because I did notice this, but it was reported the previous week that the Empire has made quite a few inroads into federal territory due to the Thargoid War. And yeah, when you actually look at the power play map, it's true. We've got the Bluehead Princess pretty close to Sol, and so's the old spider lady, Torval. So, yeah, there's a Galnet article reflecting this, because the Empire is accused of a power grab straight into the Federation heart. That's how it was on the 9th. All I can say is Archer and Winters and all the other Fednecks, that's taken from the loose screws, by the way, not my phrase, but that they have rallied to the defense, and the Empire powers have retreated a little bit. So, but yes, we'll have to wait and see how this unfolds, because nobody expected the Imperials to be this far in federal territory. But yeah. So on the 10th, they mentioned about the anti-Xeno blockade at 22,460. So that's 2-player events, which have been
I really like
mentioned
this
in
reactive
Galnet News.
Yeah, reactive Galnet. It's great.
I think it's really cool. I love the fact that they also Frontier gave now whether or not the organisers chose to use it is a moot point at this moment. But I really like the fact that Frontier gave them an AXCZ to play with in that area as well in 22,460. I don't know if it had always been there, but a lot of the chatter was, hey, this is a new thing that's been added. So another thing which is a measurable in-game thing that people are dealing with, so you can
Meccan touched on that in his debrief.
Yeah.
He said it was actually really useful. I guess for instancing to have an actual target is fantastic.
Yeah, it's really it's cool as well, because it's a nice way that and we don't know if there is going to be a further Galnet article about it. It certainly seemed to indicate that with the first Galnet article. So providing that they used that AXCZ, that it's a really nice measurable way to see how many people or how many CZs were won. If there was like a hidden metric that Frontier were watching for example, potentially, if there was like something that they can then go back in and see, oh, actually, there were this many CZs that were completed there, or there was this many Thargoids that were killed in that area, and you've got this log on. That I think we're going to get more along those lines with like these massive, huge scale commander events, providing they're using in-game mechanics and doing things with the actual galaxy. I think that's really important.
So I guess there's also a caveat that we need to be careful not to expect Frontier to react to things we do. And don't get grumpy. You know, if the Elite Racers Titan Cup doesn't get a Galnet article, we're not going to be going, oh, why didn't we get a Galnet article? You know.
Well, look, with the best will in the world, when you've got when you're setting up you don't expect every single expedition to get a Galnet article. Don't expect every single change of hands in a power play state to get a Galnet article, because that's a resource that they don't have. There's a lot of stuff that happens. I saw a comment along those lines. The last time I remember this kind of stuff happening was when I was in the middle of it with the Operation Witch Hunt stuff, and it's really nice to see them including more things. Really nice.
It's great, and they can pick and choose, and the ones that they feel they can write about and weave into lore, they can roll. That's lovely. I love it.
Chris, then.
I was just going to say, I do love them including sort of player-generated stuff in there. It is great. I was going to ask more from my idiot head. Is this the final place where the Thargoids can now be found, or are they still floating about in other systems?
Oh, there's the Pleiades.
Yeah, then they're still in the Pleiades.
It's the only place where the anti-Guardian field is in effect. For what it's worth. Why you would want... As a player, why you would want that? I really want to go somewhere where there's an anti-Guardian field. I mean, but nevertheless,
because it's there, Alec. That's why. Because it's there.
I really want to be royally fucked.
There's your sense of adventure, Alec.
It's too easy. It's too easy in the Pleiades.
We do not go there because it is easy. We go there. Okay.
For the other things.
And the other
you pop their love on, you go.
We go there to get our Thargoid bobbleheads. That's why we go there. Right. The power play standings for this week. Well, there haven't been any place changes, which was a bit of a surprise. Last week, Aisling was catching up with Mahan, but it didn't happen. Mahan's guys pulled ahead, so they're now 25 systems ahead of Aisling. However, it must be said that the federal systems the federal powers are actually doing very badly. Winters is actually the only power that's lost systems. Everyone else has gained them, but she's actually lost systems. So yeah, it's quite. It's exactly the same rating as it was before. So it was Mahan, Aisling, Arissa, Grom, Lee Yong-ru, and Intel, Archer, Petraeus, Kane, Delaney, Winters, Torval. Yes, and then Pew, Barley McGrew, Cuthbert, Dibble, and Grub. So
lesser powers. I'm a Grub supporter.
Yeah, I think that's what the next. Once Torval drops off the bottom, the next one should be Pew, and the other one.
Count me in. Where do I pledge to Grub?
I'm a Barley McGrew man. Anyway, this I guess a quick mention for that time of the week again.
Oh,
store alert! In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art. In the bi-weekly newsletter, here come paint jobs for your art.
And welcome back. Although there hasn't been any new skins or updates on the store, there has been an update to the sale. You can get most of the Shock.
It's all of them, actually, she says, putting her glasses back on.
All of the Shock skins.
Yep.
So, right, fair enough. So all the Shock skins are available at the cut price of 3,900 arcs. So that's about £3 instead of 5.
Yeah. They're nice, these skins.
They are.
They're kind of cool. I don't know if I'd pick them myself, but they're kind of cool.
I think they're kind of wasted on the Anaconda and the Asp, to be honest. But I do think that they look really good on a Mamba.
These are the ones with the lightning bolts.
Yeah.
Cool. Nice.
So yeah, if you
do the bolts glow on these ones? They do, don't they?
Yeah, they do. They're really cool. They're really cool looking. I don't know if I've even got 3,900 arcs because I'm already setting my ways on the thing. But I do like the Python skin.
Yes, it's the way the lightning actually seems to augment the shape of the ship. Actually, yeah.
I don't use my Python anymore.
No, I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
I mean, so yes.
SEO, mate, SEO.
So if you want your ship to look as if you've just gone straight through, you've been hit by an ion cannon, that looks great. Yeah. Okay, I guess we will take an ad break and come back with some discussion.
Are you a commander who's tired of interstellar injustices? Do you find yourself constantly needing to express your displeasure? Look no further. Introducing the Manticore Pitchfork, crafted for the discerning commander who demands more than just a plasma gun to make their point. Made from ultra-durable, premium materials, these pitchforks are designed to handle even the most heated encounters with unruly aliens, malfunctioning droids, or pesky space pirates. Whether you're settling a dispute over asteroid mining rights or rioting about a non-compulsory feature, the Manticore Pitchfork has got you covered. With its sleek design and unbeatable durability, you'll be the envy of every commander in the galaxy. The Pitchfork will be in stores later this year, but if you cannot wait until then, you can get 3 months early access by visiting your nearest Frontline Solutions. Order today, and while stocks last, receive a free Displeasure Beacon. This lightweight handheld device combines all the functionality of a naked flame, but with 0 oxygen requirements. Now you can wield your torches in space, and even for a small fee, change their colour. The Manticore Pitchfork, when 280 characters aren't enough.
Out there's a ship just for you. A ship that can carry you to the furthest stars, jumping long distances whilst offering an unobstructed view of the galaxy. A ship that can also pack a decent punch if the pirates come knocking. A ship that feels safe. A ship that feels like home. The Asp Explorer. A great ship at a great price in a competitive galaxy. Fly far. Fly safe. Fly in front of things.
From the creators of luggage limpets and passenger lounge suitcase shuttles comes the latest revolution in passenger transportation, the passenger cannon. For centuries, circus performers have perfected the technique of being fired from a cannon. Paired with our new memory gel passenger pod impact absorption technology, you too can speed up disembarkation times from your liner by up to 250%. No longer be limited by pad sizes and excessive docking fees with the passenger cannon. But how does it all work? First, all passengers will be issued with a passenger pod inflation suit during transit. On approach to your passenger's destination, simply fill the inflation suit with our patented impact-absorbing memory gel. Then, once in a stable position in proximity to the destination, effortlessly slide them into the disembarkation chamber ready for launch. The passenger cannon is now available in both gimbaled and turreted varieties to make aiming elementary. Make your liner one of the top 1% in the galaxy. Buy a passenger cannon today. Warning, passenger cannon must not be operated on high-gravity planets or near geysers.
New from Azimuth Biotech, it's Tickle Me Thargoid. Tickle Me Thargoid is fun for all the family. Teach your little anti-Xeno commander the difference between an Orthrus and a Cyclops, a Basilisk and a Medusa.
Count the hearts. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a Cyclops.
Teach them their weakness and how to exploit them.
Now rip out the hearts. One by one.
I don't want to.
Do it. Using the tool. Do it. Now stomp on its face. Smash its face in.
I've got them.
Tickle Me Thargoid. Available now from branches of Lave Toy Depot and other retailers.
I'll just wait for that last Thargoid to die. Right, welcome back. Well, first of all, let us welcome back Chris to the radio show. We all had a good chat last week, Chris, about what people were hoping for this year. I wondered whether or not you had any things that you would want for Elite Dangerous in 2025.
Wow, what am I wanting for a year from Elite Dangerous? I'm not too sure. I don't have anything really specific in mind. My thing is, as I play a lot as a sort of solo player and a very poverty-stricken commander, which means that I've not saved up enough yet to get myself a fleet carrier. I've not sort of run about, and the idea of colonisation seems very far off from my poverty-stricken commander. If he is somehow able to colonise space on his lonesome, then something has gone wrong with colonisation in this game, because my commander definitely should not be able to populate a system. It should not be within his sphere of influence. So I guess for me, I'm looking for something else. I'm looking for maybe some new Odyssey content, maybe some new on-foot content. I feel that Odyssey has been neglected of late. They did a lot of the bug fixes, and we kind of got a couple of things through the Thargoid War for Odyssey, where you had the settlement, you had the sort of settlement missions and the Spire sites, which was kind of it as far as what Odyssey has had of late, unless anyone could correct me. So I'm going to go with some new Odyssey content, I think, in my head.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of power play things, but judging by Chris Fye's reaction to the power play Odyssey stuff, he's not that too impressed. I have yet to get a weekly with an Odyssey slant to it.
Isn't it? Yeah, what magic are you pulling off? Because I think there's a lot of people that would love to speak to you. But also, I have not, again, I'm also not engaged in power play yet, so I'm completely the wrong person to ask all this. But is it the case that the Odyssey component is essentially go and fetch these things or murder this bloke? Isn't that the full extent of what they're doing for power play?
It's fetch these things, actually, isn't it? I don't think there's even a murder this bloke, is there?
Because
no,
because that was already there, right? That's not new.
But that's true of all the. No, actually, it's not quite.
You've got the hacking the boards things and stuff, which is new content.
That's true.
But I was more looking for like something that's a new, not a sort of twist on the exact same.
No,
I mean, there's things like get stuff from power play specific lockers, but it's really just get stuff from a locker, so it's not a new game mechanic, really.
Yeah, and it's the data pads, and they've just added a data type into the pads, haven't they?
Yeah. So okay, at least he added some functionality in there, but it's more of the same. Not that's new.
What they could have done is like in the same way that we've got hacking. Actually, I was going to say something really stupid and silly, but actually, sensibly, you could have you could do the graffiti thing, couldn't you? As an on-foot mechanic.
Yeah, the thing is, you'd definitely have to have preordained stencils.
Oh, sure,
Yeah, no,
sure.
you
I'm
do,
not
of course you
for
would.
a minute suggesting that people could spray their own graffiti.
Yeah, because otherwise, before you know it,
Of course you would, because I'd be in Ashley Nouvelle space quicker than you can say. With my green canvas spray paint, come in, motherfucker!
Oh, look, this large member is the same color as her.
Where all of these green dicks come from? And there's me with like my whole forearm covered in green paint.
Looking like that splatter suit. Yeah.
Yeah, the splatter suit. I'll be wearing the green splatter suit just for flavour.
Yeah, you just imagine there'd be competitions so you could do the biggest one, which is, it's going to be there.
Alec gets his SRV out, and that's not a euphemism.
Yeah, hold my beer.
Yes. Okay, so that got derailed there, Chris. Sorry about that.
I'm good at doing that.
Is there anything that, the moonshot one, is there a one that you really would wish that they'd put in, despite that it would cost an absolute fortune?
Oh, geez. So like a big project that I wish they put into the game.
Yes.
I would really like different kinds of landings, like more exciting planets to be able to go and visit, because we're still kind of at very low, sort of tepid atmosphere. So I would like a bit more of that. I enjoy doing a bit of the exploration aspect in No Man's Sky.
Yeah.
And you've got so much variety within one system, whereas in Elite, you do have some planet variety, but not tons. So I guess if I was going for like my sort of moonshot, it would be that, though Elite sort of sticks very close to reality, which is, in reality, a lot of planets are dust balls with nothing on them, or gas planets. It's not... you're not supposed to come across a No Man's Sky type place with every planet habitable and with creatures on it. So, yeah, I guess I'm kind of talking myself out of my own idea, but I'll stick with that.
Yeah, and then you suddenly realise how rare and precious a planet like Earth is, and look what we're doing to it.
Yeah, but see,
it's today's moral message. This moral message has been brought to you by...
Yeah, I mean, the
things
thing
you didn't expect to hear in 2025: moral messages coming from Lave Radio.
It's a new year. It's something.
It's a new thing.
New year, new Lave.
Message at the end of the year.
Our moral messages.
It's all right. It's all right. We'll be back to tits and ass before you know it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just a bit more of a variety of landings and things. We got elements of that in the game, when you got things like asteroid stations got introduced into the game, which are really cool and so underused in this game. It's, I don't know, like stuff above gas planets, things, just more variety in there. And, how hard can it be? It's super hard. It involves a whole art team and people programming stuff. So, yeah. But, yeah, it's things like that I kind of want. Colonisation, it's going to be cool. And if it is a fun sort of group activity for people to do, then I think I'll be all over that for a little bit. But I know it's something that I can't solo. Very similar to the Fargoid War. I was not going to single-handedly win a Fargoid War. However, doing it in a group of people was a lot of fun. So bring that same kind of energy, I think.
Excellent. If anybody's interested in the rest of the crew's opinion, tune in to last week's episode if you haven't heard it.
I'll put a link to that in the show notes if you don't mind, because then we're in show notes section and I'm not keen on it.
If they've suffered it last time, I'm not going to point them back to it, am I? Anyway, right. Well, the other thing that we were going to touch on, colonization's deal breaker. This was a rather interesting one, Claire. Do you mind expanding on what you mean?
Wait, so this came from a shopping trip that I took with my husband, and we talk, like, imagine two people who play Elite quite a lot, like, get into conversations about it, and we were talking about different things that we've seen people saying, like, across the board, and what and just like a curiosity as to what your deal breaker would be. So lots of people seem to be kind of excited about colonisation. Lots of people seem to be kind of excited about colonisation as far as like the new scope of it and being able to have your name in as the architect of the system and all of that kind of stuff. But I've seen little sort of like, oh, well, if they're not letting us do that, then what's the point? Or if they're not letting us do this, then what's the point? And that kind of thing here and there. And I was curious if, from in a more like structured format as to what would be your personal sort of like, okay, yeah, this looks really cool. I'm excited about it. I'm hoping for this. And we talked about it like as soon as it came out. As soon as it came out, all of us drew the design in our head and when this is how I'm expecting colonisation to be. There were certain things where we're like, I would very much like this, but are there certain things where if this either isn't a thing or if this is a thing, what would make you think twice about engaging with it?
Yeah. Okay. Well, how about you open the bidding then?
Oh,
do we need a soapbox?
No. No, absolutely not. I'm kind of quite open to it. I don't know if we've taken the jingle bells off the soapbox yet. I'm still all full of Christmas cheer, but I'm kind of very much what they've already said. I'm super happy with. Oh gosh, I genuinely don't know if there's anything at the moment that would stop me from wanting to engage in it. I think the one thing that I'm slightly concerned about with it is I'd like to know. So you buy the you buy the colonisation beacon and then you have to pop it in the system where you want it to go, and then the big ship comes in and everybody brings the commodities and the items to that ship to do it. My concern is if it becomes too much of, I'm going to say grind. If it becomes too much of a grind, or the material cost is too high. That's my main concern is if I'm going to be spending 4 hours and only just getting the lowest level of system that I can get if I was doing it as a single player, then it would make me less willing to engage in it with a squadron because it still feels like I don't want to entertain it for like a single player because Frontier said that a single player would be able to do it, that kind of thing. I think that's my only concern is hoping that they get the balance right of those materials and the delivery and the cost required. Not the actual like credit cost, because credits are nothing, but the actual commodity cost that is required. There's been a good sort of like 4 or 5 years since Elite has felt like a job for me. I don't want Elite to feel like a job for me, which as a full-time content creator who streams a lot of Elite Dangerous is a very weird thing to say in that context. But I don't want the actual like the physical gameplay to feel like a job for anyone, and it shouldn't feel like a job for anyone. And that's my concern and potentially my deal breaker. But I am legitimately all in, and my threshold for the costs involved might be a little bit different to everyone else.
Yeah, I mean, this is why they're putting it into a beta, because they've got to balance it right, haven't they? And it's not like Power Play, which they can fiddle with it afterwards. But
that's what they're doing though. They're fiddling with it afterwards. It's not going onto a beta server; it's going into the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So it's going into the game. They're doing exactly what they've done with Power Play. So they fiddled with Power Play while it's in, but they're actually calling it that as opposed to pretending that it's all done and ready to go.
Yeah, but why call it a beta if you're not gonna wipe it?
Because it's a minimum viable product and not a beta.
And because you're not going to get people to test it properly if they think the results of their testing for something like this are going to get wiped. You need people to commit and try and build a system.
When they've done that before, they haven't.
I would love it to be going in sort of a similar way to how they first did Engineers, where you're buying an entire system using fish. I think that's the way they should have done it.
Yeah,
well, then you would have
with
to
the fish again,
away, though, wouldn't you?
Use a fish advert. Oh no, we can't.
we can't for reasons. I think, I don't know. I kind of get why they're doing it in live, like a live beta, is because people aren't going to commit the same amount of effort to it as if it was in a test environment that's going to just disappear later. I do think you are going to get some argument though from people in the initial weeks, months of it going, well, I'm not really going to fully commit yet because at some point they're going to change these dials.
But they might make it harder.
Yeah, they might make it harder.
Yeah,
exactly.
It might
be the best time to do it.
You could be like,
that's
week
the
one's
gamble
the
that you're
easiest,
taking.
you know, or week 2 is the most difficult. You know, it's how those dials are going to be shifted. I think you're right, Psyche. It is if people want to do it by themselves. How do you make it difficult enough, or at least realistic enough to the fact that you are colonizing an entire system? You should not be able to do it with one T9s full of supplies, as opposed to, you know, suddenly making it completely unobtainable unless you spend the entire month sort of flying your T9 back and forward to the system.
I mean, it's got to be achievable in a month. Now, if you've got your single T9, and you've only got a month to get the system in, surely the most basic station must be achievable with just one T9.
Well, but not one, but yeah, I mean, like 50, 100 runs in a T9, 50 runs in a T9.
I mean, yeah, that sounds perfectly plausible to me, but
yeah,
it's just, I mean,
is it a month? Did we establish that it was 4?
They said a month.
4 weeks. 4 weeks.
Yeah, okay.
4 weeks.
Wow, you can haul a lot in 4 weeks.
I know.
I mean, that's not even logging in every day as well. Like, I think we've talked about this, about the how an Elite Dangerous player plays Elite is for quite a few people very different to the way that they used to. So it's this live service beta thing that they're doing is. I think there's going to be loads of numbers slid up and down and goalposts shifted. So I'd start with it straight away.
Yeah. I think my main concern is if it becomes the same as you. If it becomes too much of a grind. I mean, it's not as if I got a short attention span, but I must admit that the thought of just run after run after run without any break is the kind of thing that would kind of turn me off. And that's, I mean, I've done that so many times for other things, and that's when I've normally burnt out on it. It's just, I guess we'll just have to wait. This is the worst thing, because we know what they're going to give us the answers. It's just you can't see it working any other way at the moment unless they're going to surprise us.
Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it's going to be interesting. I think we'll be surprised with whatever they do, and that's quite fun.
Well, I hope that we're surprised, because Power Play was surprising.
True.
That was very surprising, because at one point you were saying, "I'm not going to do it." And the fact that,
I mean, they walked back with a lot of things, though, didn't they?
They did, actually. But it's. I mean, I'm glad in some way for player engagement. I'm glad they did. But yeah, so I'm hoping that they that if they do realise that it turns into a grind fest, that they've got the nuns to say, right, okay, that might have been a mistake. Let's roll it back and do something different. But yeah. Alec, any thoughts?
Yeah, I have kind of two. I have a specific thing and just a general hand wavy kind of thing. My specific thing is quite niche. It is basically the minimum settlement placement distance. So the thing I am most looking forward to with colonisation is getting a system with a nice planet and then plonking down some settlements about 50 kilometres apart to create races between.
Yeah.
I would love to be able to plonk down many settlements, so 3 or 4 either in a long line or just dotted around for different races in different directions. If they stick to the Odyssey minimum distance of 250 kilometers, I will be quite sad. I'm not sure it'll be an absolute deal breaker, but it'll just be like, oh, the thing I wanted to do with colonization, I can't do. That's a shame. My more general one is just I was thinking about this today, and it was just a kind of, I wonder how entertaining colonization is going to be and what its sort of long-term playability value is. So when it first drops, we're all going to, well, I say we're all, a great many of us will give it a go. So you'll go to your colonization contact and we'll get to see the colonization interface for the first time, and there'll be a galaxy map and it'll have new filters. I think they spoke about, I can't remember what they called it, but a colonization UI on the galaxy map. So it'll all be fun and it'll all be new, and we'll get to pick a system. And we'll put our money down. And then there's this 24-hour fly there and plant a beacon. It'll be intriguing to see how that works. And then your colonization ship turns up, and that's the biggest asset they've ever put in the game, or the biggest ship. So that'll be fun, and it'll be entertaining to see that, and we'll take screenshots from it from all sorts of angles. And then we'll get out, and then the big trade CG begins, the hauling CG, whether individual or as a group. And we'll get our system, and we'll find out if we can name it. Probably not, and we'll see our name on it, and we'll go, look, there's our lovely system, and then we'll develop it. And that might take each of us, I don't know, a few months.
Yeah,
2 or 3 months, and we'll have a system, and we'll have planted some planet bases, and we'll look back and go, that's lovely. I sort of wonder beyond that. What's the long-term playability like? Once we've done one, how many people are going to extend and do a second one that's 20 light years from the bubble? Woo, wow, a whole 20. My fear is that it's going to be fun, but it's going to burn out real quick. And
Yeah.
3 months from now, who's going to be? I don't know that I'll be doing it 3 months from launch. Once I've done one, I think I might be done.
You think so?
I can't see how entertaining it's going to be.
Not yet, no. But
Not yet. Not yet.
That's always a challenge, though, because once you've actually achieved a goal, especially in Elite, and there's that big, oh, I've done it, and then you go, oh, now what? Oh, I've got to do
it's
all
like
that
when
again.
I know I haven't even got one, but when fleet carriers first launched, I spent ages flying to fleet carriers and looking at them from every angle, and then I used to wait for till one was departing so I could watch it depart, and then I figured out if you were quick, you could watch one arrive, and I did lots of oohing and ahhing for 2 weeks, maybe, before I got a bit bored of fleet carriers and filtered them out of my system map. So yeah, it's those kind of fears of what's its long term.
Yeah, well, the thing is, the fleet carrier is an actual tool that a player can use.
Yeah, and I haven't even got, like I say, so that's a bit unfair. But you know what I mean about things that when they're new in the game, you just there's so much fun and so exciting, but that does wear like the big ship that they've spoken about, the colonization ship. I can't wait to see that. It'll be fantastic. But
I mean, I thought it looked like 2 fleet carriers that had been super glued together.
Yeah, but it'll be a week's worth of excitement before I'm quite bored of looking at the colonization ship.
I think, yeah. I mean, I take it we can dock on it, but can we actually? It'd be interesting to see if we can walk around in it.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because there's fleet carriers we can walk around, but there are mega ships we can't.
Given we can't walk around on what's the power play big ship thing called?
Yeah, the power play carriers we can't walk around on. Which I was a little
my
bit.
money would be on not probably because there's no reason to.
I suppose.
Anyway, I am looking forward to it genuinely, but I wonder how exciting it will be long term. We'll see.
Chris, what's your thoughts?
My thoughts. Well, like I said, I kind of expect it to be unachievable for me with the amount of gameplay that I managed to fit in. Like when it comes to Colonisation, I look forward to helping. Depending on how the mechanics work, helping other people try and achieve their dreams. Help Alec build his racetrack, and Psychic build her empire in the corner. But
empire in the corner. Like all of these green dicks everywhere. I get it.
Yeah. Psychic's arrangement of settlements to form the largest planetary phallus that's ever been constructed.
Yeah, man, I'm there.
That's an idea. You've now got away by settlement placements.
I mean, it can also be a racetrack. Maybe that's the arrangement of Alec's racetrack as well. I don't know. Maybe there'll be a competition between Lave to see who can arrange the most, the largest planetary. Yeah, okay.
I've got a name for you, Psychic. You can call your project Project Dick Hunt.
I can't do that. I get banned, mate, because I shorten it, and you know why.
But what would be a breaker for me? I don't know. I kind of think similar to Alec is what happens when there's burnout. Do you just end up with a bunch of systems that are kind of like neglected, disrepaired, half completed systems that no one goes back to? Like what does that look like? Does it just absolutely break down into chaos, or is it just once someone plants a settlement, it's like, oh, it's just kind of self-sustaining now, and that's it. It will be there forever.
Yeah, and I mean, there's plenty of systems in the galaxy that only have one outpost in them already.
Yeah,
it'll just be that. I mean, it's not bad at all.
No, because it's just once you've completed the station, that's it. You have colonized that system, and you've got a choice of either you can expand and make that system better, or no, that's it. That you can move on to the next system. Which I think the main thing would be is if you have a whole load of half-finished planetary settlements all over the place, because that's the next step, isn't it? Is you choose your...
Yeah, that was the thing that Arthur started hinting at, wasn't it? That you could leave planetary settlement unfinished.
So you could tell the state of whether or not someone's given up in that system by the amount of those that are left all over the place.
Yeah, it's kind of you want how many settlement building schematics? Oh, okay, I'm done. it's left.
Yeah.
The problem is
like when you. I want to think, is it Spain? I feel like I've been like on coach journeys across Spain before now. That's probably very unfair. Sorry, but there seems to be lots of sort of unfinished building. Like you have the sort of big entrance gateway, the big great stone. Yeah. The Back to the Future, the estate, and there's the big sort of stone gateway to the front of the estate where Marty McFly ends up living. And you can see a lot of places where that's all that's been built and nothing else.
Yeah, we've got the same kind of thing that's over at Salford Quays, because when you actually turn up at Media City and you head in towards Salford Quays for the first time, one of the things you notice is all these fantastic kind of skyscrapers that are there, but in amongst them there are still the shells of unfinished flat buildings that have been abandoned. This is supposed to be the big regeneration place, and they've still got basically abandoned building projects.
I wonder if there is a way, because I know, because in that thing where they first showed video of it, and they had the unfinished one that looked a lot like a racetrack, that kind of thing, and
I thought it looked like a container port.
Yeah,
it did, but also in if you're speaking in Alec Turner, for example, it looks a lot like a racetrack. But I wonder if there is a way to keep that always as a racetrack.
Yes, that was my worry.
Yeah. I think we've talked about this before. Like, if you can keep if there is a way to keep that always as a racetrack, because otherwise some kind-hearted, it's like the tritium fairies all over again. It's some kind-hearted individual will come along and go, oh, well, that's half finished. Let me go and finish that for you. And then suddenly you lose your racetrack and you can't do your bucketball race that you've been planning like 5 months down the line.
Now, that is not a deal breaker, but it is definitely one of my fears that that conversion from a half finished to a finished is not in the control of the architect.
Yeah.
It's simply a matter of how much material was delivered.
Because we know people really like to trade in this game as well, you know.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Be right
Yeah,
back.
I mean-
I'm just off to finish all Alex buildings off.
I'll have to keep it secret. I'd only invite Shay. Shay's the only person invited to my racetrack. Nobody else is allowed to know where it is.
Shay turns up and it's all built and he goes, what? That's the ultimate troll, isn't it? Finishing off your buildings when you didn't want them done.
Okay, what's odds to finish my racetrack?
well, we've got probably about another 6 weeks of like speculating about this before we hear anything in February. Oh my gosh.
I know.
I'm chopping out a bit, man. Crikey.
Oh, well, that's good to hear the enthusiasm, to be honest. It is good to hear the enthusiasm.
I think I'll be bored of power play by then.
I don't think I will, actually. I must admit, with the Arissa group at the moment, we're noticing a lot of incursions and where other people are trying to actually take our systems. And yeah, it's a bit of a panic because you feel like you're on the defensive.
Well, that's cool though.
Well, that's great. Because
it's a new feeling, I'm guessing, for power play, like if you did the first one.
No, because after what was it, 7 years of just constant everything being so static, it's nice to see movement.
Yeah, that's cool. That's
even
really
though
cool.
it might be in the wrong direction.
And I hear when you get to level 40, you get 10 weeklies.
I've got a long way to go.
Have you really? I think I'm at level 23, something like that. And that's just from doing weeklies. And apparently I did some donation missions in one of my BGS systems to try and bring us down a little bit the other day. And because it's effectively an acquisition system for Kane, I was just getting merits for doing normal stuff. I was quite excited.
Bribing your way to the top.
Hey, my guy, I've got the money. I've got all of that hard-earned Thargoid killing money. I'm planning on using it. It was good. It's been really fun.
Make Kane great. Not again, just make her great.
So again, I mean, it was just a byproduct of doing the things I needed to do for PGS. I was like, oh, I rank up more materials for Claire. Okay, rubbing my hands together.
Yeah. Well, here's me just being stuck on level 8. Yes, need to work on
weeklies,
more.
Mate.
Yes, that's my thing. That's what I keep on meaning to. Right. Well, today, what we'll do is we'll just quickly touch on the mostly clueless stuff, and then we'll see what the community have had to say about this deal breaker. But Alec, you've got a mostly clueless for us all.
Yeah, it's a little thing, but if people will think about what the FSS interface looks like, pre-SCO we would travel a little way from the star, and then you jump into the FSS, and depending on how your bindings and things are set up, you're then sort of panning around this vast space looking to find all the bodies and moons and signals in that system. So my little tip is basically to use a 5 or 10 second burst of supercruise overcharge to get a nice long way away from the primary star, and then use the FSS. And the whole of the system you're in is all gathered in one little spot. If you zoom parallel to the orbital plane, then basically the entire system will be laid out behind you on a little line. Or if you prefer, that's what I like to do, if you boost with a bit of SCO perpendicular to the orbital plane, then the whole system will be in a little circle. And you just have to move your reticle around that circle rather than panning all over the sky looking for things in every direction. Get away from the system and look back at it is my tip.
Excellent.
Hello? Is this thing on?
Yeah, it is on.
This thing is on. Has someone got the correction to last week's?
Hello, Lave Radio would like to issue an apology on behalf of the Quizmark 5 for his terrible mode to Clueless of us last week, because we said that if you logged into Horizons, you wouldn't get Odyssey missions in Power Play on your weeklies, which are mandatory and not something that you can't. That you can skip each week. They are mandatory, and you do have to do them. I don't. Like, you're speaking a different language, and I mostly just let the funky music do the talking at that point. But what we have had further science has been completed, and people have been logging into Horizons to get the non-on-foot missions and receiving on-foot missions. So Lave Radio would like to issue an apology on behalf of the Quizmark 5. Let's fuck it, all Chris's. I'm really sorry for all Chris's. And say my apologies. That's not true. We got it wrong. We got it wrong. Imagine us not saying something that's true on this show. Shit.
On behalf of Chrissy's, I apologise for Claire's apology.
Thank you.
And Lave Radio would like to apologise for the apology of the apology of the apology.
Indeed.
Sounded like Hutton now.
I know. Okay, so that's. Let's move on quickly. Right now, this is something that I discovered this weekend, which did blew my little tiny mind. Now, I am probably going to be of the opinion where everyone else just looks at me like, you didn't know that. But for those of you who didn't know, if you have got notoriety of 0 but a bounty, and you want to get rid of that pesky bounty, there has been problems in the past where you go to a system, to the interstellar factor, and find you can't pay it off. Mm-hmm. Well, one of the things that I found out was if you look in the system map and you look at each of the stations, it'll actually tell you if you cannot pay your bounty off at that system.
I don't believe you.
No, true. What you do is you have to go into the system map. You have to go to any of the stations or any of the places where you look, and if there is a faction there that has issued the bounty against you, there's a little red warning that says, no, you can't pay off your bounty here.
Wow, I did not know that.
Seriously, I genuinely found out something new.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that either. I also don't believe you, but I will. because my brain goes, hey, I can see who I've got the bounty for. I'll just open an ARA, look up interstellar factions, and see if that faction is in that system. So yeah. I never even need to think about opening the system map.
No, I found it. It was actually on my last stream, so you can see and find my absolute. I didn't know that was in, and then Phoenix Blue was there saying, "Oh yeah, that's been in for ages." So Phoenix Blue was there saying, "Oh, it's been in for ages." I thought, "Oh, then how come no one else seems to know about it?"
Absolutely, a new one on me. That's a good one. Nice.
So yes, a helpful tip, and if I'm wrong, there will be an apology of an apology of an apology of an apology tomorrow.
I can't wait. Oh, that's going to be a question of the week on a really slow week. Oh, we've got 6 of them on a really slow week. What would you like Lave Radio to apologise for? Speaking of the question of the week.
True. Very true.
Every Tuesday, every Sunday, around between, it was a little bit late this week, but between 1 and 2, around sort of that sort of time in UK time, we wrap out on our socials, on our specific socials that are Twitter, Blue Sky, and in our Discord, we put out our question of the week. And this week's question of the week, along with our main topic discussion, was what would be the one deal breaker that would put you off from engaging with Power Play? Along the way.
Oh right, okay. I thought it was dealing with colonization.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, not Power Play. Colonisation. Sorry.
Everybody's answered the wrong question.
Everybody's answered the wrong question. Yeah, it's colonisation. Sorry, my brain went Power Play because I read Power Play a little bit earlier with the corrections versus a Power Play weekly step. I'm an idiot.
It happens to us all.
Lave Radio would like to apologise for Claire saying Power Play and not colonisation. It's colonisation. There we go. We covered it.
How many apologies is that in this episode alone?
I'm not performing Monkey, Colin. I wouldn't know. I'll ask Robbie Williams to do it.
Robbie Williams to do it, yeah. Right. I guess, Alec, you can kick us off.
All right, let's go. So I have Commander Adler Weiss. Hey, Ben. Miss you, bud. Yes, so Ben says, as I've said once or twice, I'm not a fan of executive control, and I just want to fly my spaceship. So whilst I might help a friend deliver widgets and coffee to help build a base, I don't really see myself initiating a base. There.
Fair
It's
enough.
not for everybody.
Spherelance says, with the information we have so far, I can't see a deal breaker. I get that a lot. I understand the 10 light year range as that helps constrain things initially in case big mistakes happen. Like with Power Play 2, I will go into it with an open mind.
Excellent.
I have got one here from Profane Pagan. My bet is that even the biggest critics will engage with colonisation. It's such a novel feature with starport and base building. Everyone will be rushing to check it out.
Yeah, I mean, there is initially going to be a gold rush, isn't there?
Mm-hmm.
You know, so everybody's trying to put down their nav beacons just like they did in California with red flags. So yeah, that's going to be interesting. I've got Finn McRaven. Firstly, it would put me off if it cost billions, as I'm tight in game as I am in real life. You're getting a hint, Scottish hint, more now. I'm also not that excited about it. I'll give it a go, but I've never played Elite to be a land baron, so I'd rather more to do with my commander or ship, like different missions. I mean, yeah, I can see where he's coming from, but maybe there might be different missions and different gameplay that they haven't told us about. For instance, you know, when you start off this kind of claim, maybe pirate gangs will take a notice and say, well, there's going to be a lot of trade coming through this way. That's easy picking, lads.
Yeah, there could be all sorts of stuff in the details that we haven't heard yet, couldn't there?
Yeah, break out the pirate handbook because we're going to try and interface with people.
If they turn it into like mini CGs, for example, if it like looks and feels like a mini CG, they could be like two CGs that run alongside each other. So mini CG, which is like delivering all the materials, and then a bounty hunting CG as well. I don't know how that would. Oh, well, maybe that would be enough to the thing that would bankroll I'm going to say Brewer Corporation, but the bankroll the ongoing upkeep of these massive colonization ships.
Interesting.
The thing is with these CGs, there's going to be thousands of them. People won't know what to do with their, you know, they've got their weeklies that they've obviously got to do, and then there's 1,000 different CGs that they've got to do. We're all going to be.
You don't have to do them all, Alec.
I don't know. I don't understand what you mean.
Right, let's move on. LCU No Fall Like One says, biggest problem for me is the proposed 10 light year range. That would be the deal breaker. I could stomach a
Lave
bit of
Radio.
but if the range thwarts long range ambitions for myself or Cannon, then I don't think I would want to engage much.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying with that, because I must admit, everybody, well, not everybody, but I know there's a system that I would love to colonize, but since it's 5,000 light years out, I don't think that's going to happen for years or years or years. And even then you've got to, and even then you've got to have the support mechanism in order to transfer everything you need. Yeah, because there's no way that I'd be able to do a 1T9 5,000 light years enough to create a station there.
No, nobody's doing those distances with what they're currently proposing.
Yeah.
Forget it. If you've got an Earth-like world 1,000 light years out, forget it. You're not getting there with the current system.
What I mean is, you know, when they got a string of them. Like,
yeah, no, I know. But you're still not doing it.
Not with that.
It's not happening.
that was echoed by Phoenix Blue, who replied to LCU and said, I suspect the range will increase after the trial period, the same way the American moon landing started with reaching space and orbit before heading for cislunar space. So yeah, I don't know that it's going to increase a huge amount. I know people have talked about 250 light years being a requisite to be able to get to where they want, and I can't see that being a thing.
No.
I'd be surprised if it's more than 20 ever.
Yeah, no, the thing is that's a step change, and that's possible. I think I mentioned the idea of a different kind of colonization beacon that you can drop in the middle of nowhere to start a brand new. So you have sort of level 1 colonization, which is your 10 light year sort of stuff, and then you have your level 2 colonization where you start a brand new colony wherever the hell you like, and then spread from that. So it's possible that in the future there would be a different type of colonization. But this one is not. They're not going to change the numbers from 10 to 250.
No. Just a question for my sanity on this one, though. They did say it was just the bubble, isn't it? Colonia is excluded from this.
To
begin with is a very important thing. So, as always, it's live service beta, so there's nothing to say. Like, I love that idea, Alec. It needs to be if there is like this second colonization beacon thing that is concerned. I'm thinking that has to be in the region of 10 billion credits to even think about putting somewhere.
And that sort of idea, absolutely. And that sort of idea gives them an out. It means saving face is the wrong thing, but they've got something in mind with this short range stuff, and it's to do with the BGS spreading into it, and it's to do with power play spreading into it, and it all remaining connected to the. But yeah, the idea of a second kind of colonization gives them an out. That if the outcry is just very loud and just perpetual and just will not die down, then they can go, all right, then here's your 500 light year beacon. Have at it.
Interesting.
I think. I don't think they'd cost. I don't think it's beyond the realms to imagine they could do that.
Yeah, agreed totally.
I agree as well.
Chris, it's your turn. Chris.
Is it my turn? Apologies.
Yeah.
Oh,
we apologise for Chris.
I apologise for me, and I apologise for the loud noise. That was also me. Right. I also apologise to Katie Anna for mincing your words. I'm hoping that it won't cost too much and that the benefits will outweigh the costs. I really like that we'll be able to populate the empty systems in the bubble, but I do wonder if that will be enough for me. I think Katie wants to colonize an entire galaxy, not just the one system. One system is not enough.
Oh no, she needs the Stargate from Raxla to do Andromeda. That's what she wants. She wants the whole galaxy to herself.
I didn't mention. I found Raxla last week as well. I've been playing Elite more, so because I've been playing Elite more, they just told me where Raxla was. I'm under NDA, so I can't tell you.
Moving on. Commander data note. I'm glad it's being added to the game, but I'm not willing to commit the time to it myself. Maybe if my adopted faction was at the edge of the bubble, but we're firmly in the old worlds, and I have too many other things on my plate. So yeah, I mean that is the one thing that does worry me about the fact that I'm really into power play at the moment and colonization as well. When we're going to get the time?
Yeah, it's quite good in a way that they didn't launch this year, because it really would have been too much, wouldn't it?
Actually, surprisingly, it's probably good luck within bad luck that colonization got delayed quite so much.
Yeah, I think it'll work well. Bograt says, while I have no colonial ambitions personally, if his fluffiness decrees to expand his sphere of influence, then I will do my fucking best to assist. Bograt will be a Hutton trucker, and his fluffiness will be Alvin.
No.
For those what don't know what he's on about.
So we had I just see so many people really like trade. I can't see it it being a problem to fill these requests. We had two. I've grouped these together because it felt like they needed to be grouped together. We've had these two. These are the two responses we had on Twitter. So well done to everyone for moving on to different platforms and not inflicting yourself with Twitter. We had a reply from Commander Slacker who said, whatever it entails, they want to see VR implementation, none of this grayed out pancake nonsense. And Athalos, who also said we need VR for foot, or how hard it can be. How that relates to a deal breaker for colonisation, again, jury's out on that for now, but...
Are you sure? Because they might have got last week's question. You know how Twitter is at the moment.
Yeah, that's true.
That looks as if it's last week's question, to be honest.
It wasn't. I've double checked.
I mean, if I'm going to colonize a system, I want to view this majestic vista in VR. Maybe that's what they're saying. It's like, what is the point? What is the point? What is the point in me colonizing a system if I can't view it in VR?
I would pay for a VR update because it's unfair for a VR on foot to be subsidized by the rest of the community. It's that expensive, but yeah.
I would pay for a VR update so I don't need to hear any more talk about a VR update. I would also contribute, right?
I am fully on board with that.
That's it.
I do not have VR. I am simply jealous. Ignore me.
VR whinging has worked. We've got everyone on board. Do it front to you.
Even the people that don't have headsets at this point are now willing to pay. It's fine.
Just those whinges up. Oh, he's off about VR on foot again. Jesus, what a waste of oxygen.
Right.
Sorry.
And as a footnote to these off-topic responses and the ludicrous off-topic discussion it's provoked, well, that's Twitter for you.
Yes, there we go.
yeah, there we go. And I apologise to VR commanders. Right, now that we're done. Glenn Van Ross, the only real deal breaker for me would be if the colonisation gameplay loops were exceedingly boring or superfluous. There's a few activities in Elite I don't find too engaging, like mining, but I still manage to do a little of now and then. CQC is a good example of a superfluous game activity. It's just PvP with extra steps and feels entirely divorced from the rest of the game. There's nothing that ties it to the rest of the Elite experience. Colonisation should feel like a core part of the Elite experience, but it all depends on what they ask us to do. Space trucking is obvious, but just as Frontier expanded Power Play's scope to encompass more variety, there should be a variety of activities involved in colonisation, both in space and on planetary surfaces, to make it something more than a make commodity numbers go up grindfest.
Good point.
That is a good point, because I think the one thing that when they said colonisation, I was there thinking that's going to be a lot. I know they said that, the last year for the Thargoid War, that was for the combat pilots. This year's for the explorers and the traders. And I'm just there thinking, yeah, there's a lot of trading going on there, but is it going to be too much trading?
I like the idea of like the version of the council planning office coming along and going, well, have you completed a full structural survey on the surface and checked for all the wildlife? Have you identified all the strains of bacteria on this planet before you build your racetrack, Alec? You need to get out on foot and scan all the bacteria, tell us where it is before you start building.
Yeah, you got to find that white bacteria on that snow-covered moon. Off you go. Get it done.
You've also got to stand in a zigzag queue for the planning office. That's what I want.
What you need is something. You need an order for it, signed in triplicate, sent in, sent back, queried, lost, found, subjected to public inquiry, lost again, and then finally buried in soft peat for 3 months and recycled as firelighters.
Oh, round of applause.
I was like, I know a quote that I can use.
Oh dear! And then fed to the bug bletterbeast of trot. No, that's the grandmother if you don't manage to do things properly. Right? Dear. Well, Cheb's will. I guess not a deal breaker, but this would make me unhappy. If your choice of initial station has limits on what you can do later, I'm guessing it'll be easier to put an outpost in there first. That first time limited build, but if that means you cannot take your time to add Orbis or Coriolis later, then when you have all the time in the world, it would be a bit poop. Huh. And if I'm the architect, hang on. And if I'm an architect, can the ground security not speak to me like I'm something they've scraped off their boot?
So all commanders respected the law?
Yeah. That first point is a good one and something I've been wondering about myself, actually.
Yeah, well, considering how your own fleet carrier treats you as you approach it, I don't expect any measure of politeness coming from your own settlements.
I'm going to go off on a tangent here very, very quickly and say, does anybody... hang on, wait. Do any of you have fleet carriers?
Only you.
Okay, great. But you've landed at fleet carriers before, right?
Oh, yes.
So when the ATC from the fleet carrier says 07 Commander to you, does it grind your gears as much as it grinds mine? Because it doesn't feel like that should be something that's in game.
No, I think 07 should be absolutely fine in game.
Oh, I hate it.
I hear what you're saying, Claire.
It's an emote. It's an emote that we do.
It's a bit meta.
It distracts me every time I hear it. 07 Commander, just say greetings, Commander, or something like that. Sorry.
But yeah, Chebshaw's first point I think is really interesting because I've wondered that because if you have a time limit, well, you have a time limit to put that first station down. Why would you do anything other than start with an outpost if you can build your mega orbis station as your second station? I honestly can't imagine why you would set out to build a massive station as your primary port because you might fail. You would just stick the smallest, cheapest outpost, bags the system, and then create your mega station. So there's a big question mark over that.
Yeah,
I think.
I always wondered whether or not there's the economy that you choose will be affected by the economies of the systems around it. You know, sort of if everybody has gone and chosen mining systems, then surely the prices that your stations are going to produce are going to be very, very low because all the surrounding area is producing the same commodities. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see what that one's like. I do like the fact I do want the security to bow and scrape to you because you are the architect. You've put this thing together. Come on,
they definitely won't.
Yeah, I'd love it if the guard comes up to you and goes, the usual kind of hold still, and then realizes who you are and goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, sir. Forget it."
Oh, I love that so much. They're never going to do it.
And then they have to do the Rimmer salute afterwards. All of them have to do the Rimmer salute.
Sorry,
a salute would work.
I have yes, X or no, who says, it's following up on the same point, outpost to Coriolis upgrade path.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nicey then chipped in and she said, I really hope the amount that will need to be trucked will be a manageable amount. For one player, it would be great. I suppose it's an excuse to get the Type 9 out again. Oh, not in a month of Sundays.
Got to dig the Type 9 out. It makes everything else feel
it's
fast.
It's a chill thing.
Yeah.
It's chill as long as you're, yeah.
You've got to have patience, much patience. Lambda was in touch. I want things to feel a bit special when I'm flying around a system I colonised and built. Otherwise, I'd feel very disappointed to have my system feel like just any other in the bubble. Could the ATC perhaps call me Governor or Your Highness when I dock? Is there a hologram of me in the concourse on the main space station? Little things like that would make me smile and make me want to colonise again and again. I like that all the commanders now have a bit of an ego complex. It's just, I want statues in my honour.
Yeah.
Or else.
Yeah, the big silver statue.
We asked if that, the question was, would it completely put you off if you don't get a statue in your honour?
Yes, 100%, absolutely.
Absolute deal breaker.
It's like the game is burst if I'm not getting a statue. That's it. I'm
There's
done.
A statue of your character model at that time has to appear in the main card.
100%.
If you happen to be
100%.
wearing a
That'll
Christmas
buy
jumper
out.
that day, that's what you're immortalised in forever. Tough luck. You colonise in a
Yeah,
Christmas
I love
jumper,
it.
you're wearing a Christmas jumper.
Having my pumpkin helmet everywhere.
All right. Well, I've got Commander Ethrickson.
Ethan.
I don't know. It sounds like a cat word. That's
Ethan.
That is
Ethan.
spelled a cat word. Anyway, for me personally, a deal breaker might be the distance that you can colonize. This one system I've wanted since they even brought up colonization is 10.5 light years from the nearest habitable system, and it's driving me a little nuts. That's the steering wheel down your pants. I'm just praying that the radius is something like 12 light years for my own selfish reasons. For realsies, though, I think that a deal breaker for me would be the lack of custom naming functions. Yes, the idea of the list might work, but like you guys mentioned on the last episode of the podcast, I think we have the technology nowadays to allow custom names. Fleet carriers can be named whatever they want, for Pete's sake. I want to name my star points after friends and pets, not predetermined and lame. Maybe that's a little too selfish, though.
I get it. I do get it. But some people are idiots, and
Yep.
Some people are idiots. That's what I'm going to say on that matter.
I keep thinking about this because we did go on about it a lot last week. Why do we feel so differently about this from fleet carriers, which we can name? Why are stations different?
Well, it's not as if you can rename the system, is it? You can't.
No.
The system still
No, they're
remains
not
the same.
But we're on the whole dead against the idea that it's very little chance you'll be able to name a station, and yet you can name fleet carriers. And I'm curious about why we feel so differently about those two things.
We just want to. I just thought that people want to avoid the Planet Penis station. That's all.
Yeah, I don't. It's not even that. I just don't want to. If I'm looking 9 times out of 10, I have fleet carriers filtered out. So I'm looking for
I
things.
suppose you might not get a filter.
Well, you can filter. You can filter, but mostly, if I'm going to a system, I'm looking for a station to land at that system. If I'm going to a populated system, the reason is to go and find these stations to be it power play, be it another mission, be it all different kinds of things. I'm looking for that station to do.
Yeah, you're right. I suppose you can kind of turn a blind eye to fleet carriers, but if you're in a system, it's quite hard to turn a blind eye to the stations, because what the hell are you there for if not to land at them?
Yeah, I don't have to go and land at your carrier that's called Dick Splat, but all I can see is D star T. I don't want a fucking system of different stars because one of the words has got cum in it or something. Do you know what I mean? Because they will blank out the whole word even if you don't realise it. So no.
Always a good one to test is calling your station Scunthorpe Station.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No,
anyway,
let's
play whatever. Epaphras. Hey, Epaphras says, hard to say at the moment, but I think the cost and time might put me off. If it's going to cost billions and take the best part of the 4 weeks to get the initial station, going to make the next jump. What? But I think the cost and time might be. If it's going to cost billions and take the best part of the 4 weeks to get the initial station, going to make the next jump. Then setting up a colony just a short 200 light years from the bubble would take the best part of 2 years, assuming 10 light years at a time. Realistically, it'd be a lot longer, as other things going on in game would take time away from colonization efforts. I think 200 light years seems sensible for a colony example, as we're talking Pleiades distances. Even if there's a group of people doing it, it's still going to take a long time, as you can't start on the next 10 light year hop until the first is done. So it might still take best part of a year before you can all start branching off, creating a mini bubble.
Yeah.
Yep. Distance is definitely that 10 light years is obviously a thing for a lot of people.
Yeah. I genuinely do think if they doubled it, I think that would be fine. But that's just me. Nowski says, my main worries with what we know so far is a fear of being gazumped in a daisy chain attempt, so that I'm aiming for a system 2 or 3 10 light year hops away. I complete the first link or 2 in the daisy chain, only to have some other player step in and beat me to a claim on the actual system I'm aiming at. A short period of exclusive access to the colonisation contact in the just created primary starport would prevent this, but from what we've been told, I guess the contact becomes available the Thursday following completion. First come, first served, when weekly maintenance completes. That's an assumption that we've made at this point, I think. But I'm rusty, so it might not be. In the session with peers, they said something like not all the facilities are available after completing hauling and before the tick. So there's a sliver of hope, but probably it will just be a matter of hoping no one's monitoring the situation closely enough to beat you to the punch. There's a lot of systems to aim at within the parameters, sure, but some are a lot more interesting than others. Yeah, I think like I talked about there being like 18 within where that I was looking at. There was like 18 within like what the faction that my squadron supports was looking at as far as like new ones to expand to. Of those 18 or so, there's 3 that are really fancy and look like we could do something with them, and the rest are just like maybe a star on a planet kind of thing. So
Yeah, you want all 3, but someone else got one of them before you could finish.
If they do, we can still expand our faction into it. You know what I mean? It's not like the end of the world. It's still well within expansion parameters.
I don't know if this is what Nausk is referring to, but if you're thinking of a chain and what you've really got your eye on is the one 3 hops away, then presumably nobody else, well, unless somebody comes in from the side on a different chain, but really what I think might solve Nauski's problem, maybe this is exactly what they mean, is if you as the architect had exclusive access to the whatever the colonisation contact and station services was for the first week.
Yeah,
after
that's what they're referring to.
Something like that would be reasonable, actually, I guess.
I don't think that's unreasonable to ask for either.
No.
Yeah, because it would allow people have got a plan to follow it, wouldn't it?
Because imagine if you've built a chain and you've done 2 or 3, and then you go to bed, and the next morning you wake up and somebody's taken your third system and done the next step in your. Yeah,
finally got to that system with the earth likes and the thing, and then someone just comes at the last minute and goes, "Yeah, mine now."
Somebody just comes to that last system, and all they do is build a half-finished surface scrapyard and go racing around on it in SRVs and never finish it. That'd be really annoying, wouldn't it?
It's like that woman. That's that person who spotted you playing that slot machine for so long, going, I will walk in after the elite and get the black jackpot.
Final one I've got here is Little Bigian, my fellow Chris. For me, the biggest deal breaker would be if we required a vast amount of annoying RNG-based Odyssey materials, as that's just not a fun game mechanic.
Really? You don't enjoy that? You've never mentioned it to me.
I mean, it's like, I don't mind it being a large quantity of something in order to make, to carry out colonization, because it is a big thing that you're building, right? So it shouldn't be just provide 10 of this and you're done.
Yeah.
But it's got to be materials that are actually obtainable and not based on good, fingers crossed, good luck, you turn up and there's some on a pad somewhere.
I've been holding on to building schematics just in case. Like I will purposely go, if I'm doing like the power play horrible collection stuff, I will go to the lockers that I know tend to have building schematics in them and just check just to see if there's one in there, just in case, because they've got to be used for it, haven't they? It would make sense.
It would make sense.
Very true.
This is another thing that bugs me about Frontiers, the way they've worded it, is they keep using the word materials. And I think I and a lot of people assume they mean commodities, but I wish they would be clear, because, if we're talking about a CG, if we're talking about a vast quantity of stuff, I assume it's commodities and not 100,000 tons of pharmaceutical isolators, which would, do you know what I mean?
You don't believe how much adhesive has gone into sticking this place together.
but they haven't been specific. They just keep using words like materials, and it's like, what do you mean? Do you mean materials or do you mean commodities? It's very important distinction.
If that's the case, Ari will get busy, won't he? Because there's
No,
so many
not
raiders.
Ari anymore, because it's not Anarchy, mate. Don't go there. I went there by mistake and I got notorious. So go somewhere else. There's loads of Anarchy systems. I know Commander Simon was working on. He's flipped a whole shit ton of systems to Anarchy ones. So go there instead. Don't go to Ari's anymore.
Right. Well, okay. That was a really good question. Thanks for everybody's replies.
It's all right. We'll do a really shit one next week to make up for it, and apologise in advance.
Dear. Right. Well, for those that are interested, our sister station, Hutton Orbital Radio, it broadcasts on a Thursday at 8:30. You can tune in at twitch.tv. /Hutton Orbital Truckers, or if you just want the audio, there's radio.forthemug.com. There was even a podcast for once. They actually put it on the pod feed. For the discerning commander that likes a bit of CQC action, the CQC Discord is still available, although admittedly it has gone quiet in the last couple of months. We're also giving shout outs to the other Elite Dangerous podcasts. That would be Guard Frequency, who do other space games as well and have banned the word roadmap. We have the Loose Screws, who are obviously looser and screwier than we are. And if you speak French,
I just let the funky music do the talking.
There's the Elite Dangerous podcast, as well as their fantastic custom missions. We don't have a Galnet News Digest this week. Commander Witherspoon and Commander Beetlejuice are having a well-earned break. But we'd like to thank all those who are chipping in on the Twitch chat and the in-game commanders that we've had. Have we actually had any?
We've had quite a few in the bar. We've had Verbal Kint, Rocky Star, Veron, Alphalis, I think I'm pronouncing that completely wrong, Valera Sanguinar, and Soka42.
A Scottish person not pronouncing a name properly. I wonder where I've heard that before.
It's a Lave Radio tradition. Apologies to all the commanders for the mispronunciation of the names.
We do apologise. We
do
apologise. Lave Radio would like to apologise.
Right, so special thanks to Commander Togoso, JN Trax, and Alan Stroud, who've all created music for this show. Before I say anything else, has anybody got any other business they want to just quickly say?
I had a quick thing. I was going to chip in when you mentioned Elite Dangerous. They've added another cool new feature to their website. So on top of the trading cards that you can collect, of which there are like 100 or 200 of them now, and you get them as rewards for missions and things. There's also a new feature now where you can create your own trading cards. Go and have a look. It's super awesome.
Green dicks, you say? Don't mind if I do.
Right, but on that note, that's it for another episode of Lave Radio. If you'd like to get in touch with the show, you can find the contact links in home/contact us menu of the laveradio.com website. Do let us know if you have any questions or if there's anything you'd like us to discuss in future episodes, especially because we're not going to have anything from Frontier for another 6 weeks. So, Lave Radio is recorded live on a Tuesday evening at 8:30 and streamed out on laveradio.com/live. So, thanks to the Chris Mark IV.
You're welcome.
Thanks to Alec Turner.
Thanks, Colin. Night all.
And thanks to Commander Psykit.
Yay! Space is cool, isn't it?
And special thanks to today's tech specialist, the Chris Mark IV, again.
Apologies.
So, until next time, Commanders, fly safe. And if you can't do that, fly dangerous.
Is your life like this? Sounds like someone having an orange inserted. Need a safe word.
Space can be lonely.
I'm gonna see the galaxy.
damn it. No worries, guys. Hold the fort for 2 seconds. I'll be right back.